back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, hello, you are very much welcome. My name is Maddie or Maddison, and this is my corner of the internet where I talk about all of my crafting things, what I've been working on every month. And today's video is my monthly wrap up. So it's time to finalise or end off July. And it's been a bit of a crazy month. So my husband and I took a week off towards the beginning of the month and just did some like mini adventures around Scotland, trying to see a bit more of the country that we now live in, because we now reside in Glasgow, or just outside Glasgow, and I have now been here almost a year. So close, like 2 weeks away from being here for a year. My husband has been here since 2023 in May, so yeah, that's where we're at the minute. And yesterday, because it was the 1st of August yesterday, we celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary. So yeah, and it's the first anniversary we've had where we've actually lived together. So it's been a month. Yeah, I also taught a workshop. I didn't really teach it, it was more like a drop-in workshop for the reveal of the mascot for the Commonwealth Games in 2026 here in Glasgow. So that was really fun. We had lots of kids come up and make some stretchy bracelets. So we're going to dive straight in here is everywhere you can find me over on the internet. And do I put it here? Oh no, I put it here, doesn't matter. That's everywhere you can find me. So places like Instagram and Facebook. I have a Discord group as well. I have a Patreon account. And is that everything? I think that's everything. No, there's a Ko-fi account. And I have patterns available on Ravelry as well, and have my own website. There's lots of things, but everything I talk about, all the information you need about me, where to find me, etc., will all be in the description box down below for you. For some reason this feels a bit out of practice, but I'm not out of practice, but there we go. Anyway, if you can hear background noise, I apologise. It's quite nice today. It's a bit overcast, but there is some blue sky poking through and the sun is pretty much out. So it means that the neighbours have decided to cut their grass. And we also have the washing machine on because we've put the tortoises outside so you can get some proper UV instead of artificial UV and just stomp around the outside enclosure. Yes, we have 2 tortoises. One is a Hayfield tortoise. He is 16 and we adopted him. He's effectively a rescue. And we have a 3 or 4 year old Herman's tortoise as well. So the Hayfield is called Mikey and our Herman's tortoise is called Nebula. So they both have separate enclosures because they're different breeds, and we've been really enjoying looking after them and getting to know the little characters because they are full of character. But anyway, you are here to see all the crafty stuff, so we're going to dive straight in. And every month I like to set myself a series of goals or targets or plans, sort of things for me to focus on for the month ahead. It doesn't always go that way and I don't often tick them off, but this month I have. So I don't know what I mentioned last month, but I seem to have 5 goals on my list, even though there was 3 in my book. All my notes are right in front of me so that I can actually get through everything. But anyway, that's 4 minutes of me waffling already. Yes. So for July then, I wanted to make a bride and groom. Why have I got no words today? Bride and groom set of gnomes for a friend of mine who was going to her friend's wedding, and they have an affinity with gnomes, so she wanted to get a bride and groom for them. So I've made those, finished those, but I don't have them with me, so I will talk about them and show pictures. I wanted to finish Yuto, the Japanese Flycatcher, which is a Toft subscription birds club box. I have finished that. I wanted to start my Tolsta Tee, and I haven't done that, but that's purely because I have spent most of July making the gnomes. I wanted to get my advent project to the halfway point. Now technically I have used 12 of the minis, so technically that's halfway, but I haven't added any of the details, so I'm not considering that halfway yet. Halfway in fact in the fact that I've used half of the advent so far, but I haven't got all the detailing on. Yeah. So yes and no for that one. You let me know in the comments whether I've done halfway or not. And the last one I added on there was to finish the small mushroom guy that I'd started last month, because I think I only had a head. So I have finished him as well. So I've done 3 of my 5, which isn't bad going, because normally I only do like 1. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. Who knows? And there is a fly now. All the distractions today. Anyway, shall we jump into it and kick off with the finishes for this month, so my FOs. Now I am predominantly a crocheter. I do have the odd knitting pattern or knitting project, but this month is all crochet. So yeah, there we go. Right, the first thing I finished was the Bride and Groom gnomes. I will pop pictures up because I don't have them, because the wedding was not Wednesday just gone, the Wednesday before, so about a week ago. Yeah.
So I have a couple of videos that you can see, but I will also pass you back to past me, where I talk a little bit more about them, so you can have a little bit more detail about them as well. And then we'll come back to me now.
Right, this is me from the past, because I've just finished these and they need to be picked up this evening. So I won't have them at the end of the month. So I thought I would explain a little bit as to why I've made them. So I was teaching a friend of mine to crochet when I moved up here last year, and they saw a pair of gnomes that I have as decorations on my bookshelf downstairs, and these are those gnomes. Now these are the Valentine's gnomes from Muffy Corn, who I believe is Olga. Probably should have checked that before I started recording. These are not joined at the heart. They probably should be. But these are also done using Stylecraft Special DK, and I used a 4mm hook for these, so they're not as dense in terms of the fabric. It is quite a loose gauge, and I think I was just testing out my Amigurumi a bit more, and trying some different patterns. So also the hooks at the top are quite droopy with the heart on. So these are the ones she saw, and she asked me to do a bride and groom for a couple of friends who are getting married this week. And I knew that Muffy Corn had a bride and groom gnome pattern, so that's what I bought. Now they are a bit taller, and I have actually joined these both at the heart as well, so that it gives them a bit more stability and the tops of their hats don't droop as much. But it has taken me almost 3 weeks of July to get these made, because I wanted to try and be as close to the couple as possible in terms of the detailing. So my friend sent me a picture of the tartan, the kilt that the groom is going to wear, as well as some ideas on flowers and colours, and a picture of the wedding dress as well. So, and a hairdo that the bride was looking at having. So I have tried to replicate as much as possible. Now it has taken me maybe 4 or 5 days just to do the kilt for the groom, because I wanted to try and make it as accurate as possible. And I have just, this morning I added on all the flowers, and then I was umming and ahhing over whether to add a train for the bride. And I figured that because I'd spent so much time making a kilt for the groom, that the bride really did need a train as well to mimic her dress, so that is what I have done. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult to show you because they are joined. I keep looking down because they're sitting right in front of me, but just as a reference, this is the original, and these, so you can see this has got a much bigger body. These are the Bride and Groom gnomes that I have made. So her dress is flipping up because she's not sitting flat. But I absolutely love them. So this is a Holyrood tartan that I have tried to replicate, which has sort of like a navy blue, brown, khaki green, and then some yellow and white stripes and blue stripes as well. The bride also has a bun, and I've added a little tiny bow at the back for something blue. And she has her train, which will sit flat when she's on a flat surface. So I do have some pictures and a video as well of the details, but she's got like sunset colours of flowers in her hair, in her hat, and I've added a blue one in there just to mimic the blue of the groom suit. I also made the little bow tie that comes for the groom as well, and everything is attached, and he also has a little pink flower as well. So these are the Bride and Groom gnomes, and I absolutely love them, and I cannot wait for them to be collected this evening. I've also added a strap for the dress shape. I tried to make it like a sweetheart neckline at the front, and then added the arm straps as well. So there's quite a lot that's gone into these, and I'm so pleased with how they've turned out. But I wanted to show you before they get picked up, because otherwise you won't see them. But her dress keeps flicking up at the back. It just needs a good tug, and it will sit nice and flat when it's on display. But yeah, those are my gnomes, and I have literally used so many colours for these that they feel a big knitting bag. So I have used Stylecraft Special DK in white for the bride, obviously. Her hair is copper, Stylecraft Special DK. The heart is Hayfield Bonus DK in Ladybird, which can now go back in my scrap bucket for my squares. The groom is made in Deramores Anti-Pulling DK in Ultramarine. And I'm going to update my Ravelry page for this project so that you can see all of the numbers, etc. We also have one flower in the bright pink Stylecraft Special DK, one in Deramores Studio Special Orange. Apparently that's orange. It looks more like a peach than an orange to me. We have Stylecraft Special DK in Sunshine for a flower. I then had an extra one. No, I haven't used the Sunshine. The Sunshine one is downstairs, so I used the Mustard Yellow from Deramores Special DK instead, because I had one too many flowers. I've also done one in a Signet's Pato Everyday DK in orange, which is like a bright neon orange, which I bought for pumpkins. There's also a purple aubergine, again Deramores Anti-Pulling DK. I've tried to use colours that I have in stock basically and not have to go buy more. Hayfield Bonus DK in pink for another flower. That's the one that the groom has. And finally, for the leaves, I've used Hayfield Bonus DK in grass. The kilt itself was made up using Deramores Olive Studio Anti-Pulling DK for the green stripes. The brown is Merlot, which I've used for a different blanket pattern. I've also used Indigo, which is the Anti-Pulling DK. I have used the Ultramarine as well. I've used the white, and I have used a couple of strands, quite a few strands, of Stylecraft Special DK in Citron as well, which I didn't bring up because there's not very much left of that. But I have literally used so many colours, and it has been an absolute labour of love, and I absolutely love them. So I hope you do too. And I hope the groom and bride do as well when they receive them this week. So yeah, I have thoroughly enjoyed them, and I've loved trying to work up the different elements as well, because in the pattern obviously there is no kilt. The rest of the groom is the same. For the bride, there is no bun at the back of the head, and the main body is all meant to be white, whereas I changed it to include some skin tone and did the arms all in the skin tone as well, just to try and mimic the dress shape. I've also added the train on the bottom as well, and a tiny little bow. And those are my changes. Other than that, they are all to pattern. And what I have done in the bottom is I have quite a large stash of cork coasters, like this one. I have quite a large stash of those. I have about 100. What I did is I cut them down by about 1.5 centimeters all the way around, and they each have a cork coaster in the base, just so they will sit nice and flat. And yeah, I thought they were pretty cool. So I think, what did I do with these? Did I write the date? I made a gnome before and I wrote the date on the bottom. So what I might do is find out from my friend very quickly the actual date they're getting married, and I will put it on the base of them as well. And maybe write Mr. and Mrs, because I can do that with just embroidery on top. So yeah, those are my bride and groom. So it's time to go back to future me. So there was lots of colours. I tried to record everything on my Ravelry page, and so all the colours are listed there if you want to go and have a look at more. But yeah, that was my bride and groom gnomes. Now it seems that all my projects for July have all used very small hook sizes. I used a 3mm hook for the gnomes, and the next project I made used a 2.5mm hook. And then when I finished Yuto, I was using a 3mm hook for him as well. So living in my little grey girl bag, there is her tag there. I love this one with the pandas because it's got the rainbow flowing through it as well. I have a critter here with a D20. I love these because they've got a handle, and this is quite a big bag. I don't think this is the large. I don't remember. But in here I have the remnants of my next project. So this one is Deramores. I don't know which. I think this is Studio Special. In Oatmeal, I have Hayfield Bonus DK in Ladybird. And I have what is left over from a ball of Stylecraft Special DK in white. Can we guess what we're making? So I finished off the small mushroom guy because I'm not making another big one. And this is a pattern by Critter Stitch, who is, I can't remember her name, Stephanie Buckner. Let me see if I can, there we go. There's the pattern. And here's my mushroom. He is just adorable. I absolutely love the big one. I really do. But this one is a bit more manageable in size. He's so cute. I was worried that the eyes might be too big, but actually they're okay. He's got all the spots on his hat. And his hat is squidgy because it's meant to sit like right down here. But it sort of springs up every now and then. And I have done it so his head turns, which is a lot easier with the DK yarn because it's acrylic, and the chenille yarn, I was worried it was just going to fall apart. So he is so cute. I absolutely loved. He's even got a little bum. I've loved making him. He's got one arm that is thicker than the other. This one is thicker than this one, but that's just the way it goes. So my little mushroom guy, he is just adorable. He's so cute. So I have used DK yarn. I have used a 2.5mm hook to try and get this as tight as possible. And I think I got to here and I put it down for the night, and then I picked it up the next day and picked up the wrong hook. I picked up my 3mm, my Toft 3mm hook that I was using, and did most like up to here. It's a good couple of inches of crochet, and then the next day I realised that I was doing it on a 2.5 and had to rip it all back. So, but it pays off, because I would not have been happy with myself if I had left it with the thicker, the bigger hook. So yeah, it's just so cute. I love it. And the only thing I will say though is the Hayfield bonus DK, which is what I used for the red, is a bit thicker than the Stylecraft Special DK. So it was a lot tougher on my hands to make the hat. I love the fact that the decreases create this spiral. Yeah, very clever. I was worried though, with this size, you only do 2 size spots. Same with the big one. But I was worried that they weren't going to cover enough, and that you might need a 3rd size spot. But actually, once I got them all on, I realised that he doesn't need a bigger spot. They're absolutely fine. I might do another small one maybe, but yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed working this up, and I'm so glad I made it in small as well as big. For comparison, this one's got a very heavy hat. This is the size comparison between the two. Like, there's his feet. So yeah, I'm not making another one of these, but I will make another one of these. So these are my mushroom guys, and I absolutely love them. It is a beautiful pattern. It is so easy to understand and to work up. I think he's just got too much stuff in his hat. I might need to try and pull some out. Little ruffle. Yeah. But this one is definitely more manageable and not as space requiring as the big one. Yeah, I've already had somebody ask me to make them one as well, so I very much enjoyed him. And actually, he only took a few days once I'd got, because I already had the head done. So once I finished the gnomes, I think this one was finished like within a few days after. But yeah, very cute. So that is the small mushroom guy. So my last finish of the month, it seems to be quite a heavy Amigurumi month. My last finish is living in my Woolage Crafts bag. I love this bag, and it's got gold details on it as well. It's an odd closure because it has like tabs and a drawstring. So I think I would have preferred if the tabs were a bit wider. It's quite an open space, but doesn't matter. It's still usable as a bag, and I love it. And in here is Yuto, the Japanese flycatcher. So this is Yuto. It was Bird Club 27, and he'll have his own video as well. So I thought I would quickly show you. I still have quite a lot of the heather left over because this was a 100-gram ball. I don't know if I've got 50 grams left, but we'll see. I've still got some cream, and I should have some charcoal in here as well. Charcoal. So I still got some of the yarn left over, which is good. And again, this took only a few days to finish off. Now, The only thing I will say is my feet are 2 different sizes. They're all done on a 3mm hook, but I did one at Knit and Natter, and I did the other one at home. So one is slightly smaller than the other. But that's okay. I did have a hard time trying to work out how to put the little extra feathers on, but it came out okay in the end. So this is Yuto. He's got this lovely plumage at the back. I have stitched down the back of his wings to cover up the fact that his body is cream, just because I felt like it looked neater. He's got a blue beak and he's got curly hair. Yeah. So this is Birds Club subscription box number 27. So I definitely have 2 more. So this is from last year, I think. And I'm just so glad that he's now finished. I've really enjoyed working him up. It's quite difficult to do very long stretches of short rounds, but I like the length that it gives you in the tail. So there's not really much for me to say about him, to be honest. Yeah, so that is Yuto, Japanese flycatcher. I will make a video explaining a bit more about him, because that's what I like to do for my Toft subscription boxes. But there we go. That is Yuto, the Japanese flycatcher. And I'm slowly starting to get up to date with my subscription boxes, because once I finished this one I went straight on to picking up one of the conservationist boxes, because I have 3. I think I have 3. I have 1 more die club. I have, yeah, 3 of the conservationist, and the new one arrived this week. So I have 4 conservationists that I need to catch up on. So I've got another 2 birds and 4 conservationists and 1 die club. But yeah, that is Yuto, the Japanese flycatcher. Next up then is my works in progress, my whips for July. So anything that I have worked on for July, or in July. So first up we have my Gemstones Advent, which is in my Janie Crow bag. So this is Chiffons Crafts 2020 Advent, and it was based on gemstones, so every single mini skein is based on a different gemstone. They are 10 gram 4-ply minis, and I'm not going to show you 1 to 6 because they're still on the blocking board. And the reason they're still on the blocking board is so that now that I have finished this one, I can lay this one over the top and then pin this one out and remove the other one. So I now have, so I already had 7, I think 9 and 10 maybe. I have now done 11 and 12. So we end on Jade, and the next one is Peridot, so it's slightly different green. But yeah, it's going to be massive. This is only half or quarter of the Advent, and I've included their tags just so I remember what colours they are. Yeah, so double this is half of the Advent, and it will have a very slight curve like that. I don't know if it's going to end up full circle, but we shall see. I am designing this myself, so I have designed, what way around is it? That way. I have designed this shape, which looks like a crystal, and once it's blocked it will have points on it. I stretch them all out, and then I'm adding outlines on top. So at the moment I've got 12 joined together. This one didn't have enough yarn to join to the next one, which is why I've blocked it in 6, and I figured I would do the same with this one. So this is going to go on top, and I will pin it like the 2 ends and maybe the bottom edge, and then I will remove the old one, that 1 to 6, and get that stitched up with the details in, I'm using a 4-ply sparkle, which I got from Helen of Giddy Yarns. And have I balled up the next one? I think I have. It's in here. Yes, I have. So this is the next one. It's a much brighter green. I'm concerned that that goes into a very light colour next, but I don't know. We should be going into yellows next. That's 15. This is 13. 14 is amber, which is that one. So we'll go from this to this, which is quite bright. But we'll see how it goes. So we'll get that pinned out and then I will start working on the next bit. That's being worked up in a 3mm hook as well, because I figured that a 2.5 would be way too small a hook for 4-ply. I mean, it's the right, if you want a thick, a dense material, the 2.5 would be fine. But when I spoke to friends, they were saying, oh no, a 3mm is as low as I go. So yeah, I'm using a 3mm with 4-ply, which is giving me quite a nice drapey fabric, which is good. I am just struggling sometimes to get to the end of the pattern with a 10 gram mini, because the reason that one didn't have enough yarn is because it wasn't 10 grams, it was 9 grams. So I'm going to have to be creative in how to attach that one to the previous one. So that's my project, my advent design that I'm doing. And yeah, now that I've blocked 6, and I'll swap them over and I will weave in all the ends and then add the detail, because that will be easier, I think, to weave the ends in first and then add detail, because then I'll have more ends to weave in. So yeah, that's what I'm going to spend, I think, the next couple of weeks doing, is trying to get the details done on the first half, the first 6. Anyway, next up is my mitered squares. So it's Radiating Squares pattern from a Spring Snowflake, which is Sophie. It's in another little grey girl bag. This one is Bumblebees. Same size as my Pandas one. I'm using the little grey girl yarn, which is all these Tula pink colours. I don't know what base this is though. It's very soft. I think it's like a merino silk maybe. And I have been trying to add in some more squares. So the idea is that I will get, because this wasn't, the 4x4 isn't big enough for a cushion, so I've started to go round again. So I think I'm going this way and have another round. I have played yarn chicken with the green. So yeah, we're going to keep going until I use up as much of the yarn as possible, because this is all I have, and I think at the end I'll end up with that left over. I should have used all of this, so that's working out quite nicely. I'm literally going to do 5x5, and then I'm going to make a plain Tunisian simple stitch back and stitch the two together. And for this one I'm actually using a wooden hook, 6mm, just a wooden hook that I got probably off of Amazon, or even maybe like the Wish or Home app before it was Temu. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing that up with. So that's quite a nice break from the 3mm and the 2.5mm to do a 6mm, even though it doesn't really feel like a 6mm. There we go. So that is my Radiating Squares, and my last whip is in my Toft subscription bag, because as I mentioned earlier, I have quite a few of the conservationists to crack on with and catch up with. So I started Erin the Wild European Hamster. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see because it's a black and white picture, So this is Erin. So she's a striped hamster, and I have made all of the feet. So I'd finished Yuto on Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday, or maybe even Thursday. And so the last day of July, I was like, I need to start something else. So I made all the feet. So they have Peony bottom and then Cocoa for the leg, and they are stuffed at the bottom. And yeah, so I made those Thursday night to end July, and then yesterday I continued with it. So I'm going to show you them in pieces because it's not put together. So I made the body, I've made the head, I have made the ears, so I've got 2 of these, and there is a tail somewhere as well. It's very small. So there we go, there's the tail. So I have all the pieces now. So that'll be my first finish of August, which will be nice. So yes, I have that in a Toft subscription bag. I have my 2023 Toft pin badge from the Advent as well on here. And I need to get my patches all stitched on, because I've got 3 of them now. I have Conservationists, Birds Club, Imaginists. There's a Dolls Club. Oh, and I have Die Club as well. So I have 4 out of the 5. The only one I don't have is Dolls Club. Yeah, so I need to get those on the bag. And that's it for my whips. Yep, that is all my whips for July. So I have already mentioned that I did a workshop, a bracelet workshop. I forgot to bring my bracelets up, so I have to go get them in a second. But the other thing I did was I did an intro to yarn dyeing workshop at For the Love of Yarn with Lisa and Jen. And I dyed some yarn. So I'm quickly going to grab that and show you what I did. So these are my dyed yarn from the workshop. So I'm just going to twist it around like that. So I have, the first one I did, I made the mistake of dunking the whole thing into yellow and then thinking I could put blue dots on it, and obviously the blue turned green and I didn't like it. So what I ended up doing was just dunking the whole thing into the blue dye. So there are patches of blue, there are a couple of patches of yellow still, and I just tried to get it to absorb as much of the dye as possible, to the point where it was no longer changing colour in my pot, and the lady next to me had had hers topped up. Lisa had topped it up with more pigment, so I dunked it in that one as well and managed to get like a green. It's quite bright in some places, but it's also quite bluey in other places. It's not my favourite, but I said it will probably become a succulent, but we'll see. So that's one. Then we have, I don't know what order I did them in, probably this one. I have one that's all in the blue, and it has patches of other colours because I kept picking it up. So there's patches of pink here, there are patches of blue and yellow there, and here, but I quite like that one. We have this one, which is what I was trying to do originally, where I've got half of it in the yellow, then I put half of it in the blue, so that you get green in the middle. That's what I wanted to do with the first one, and I did it wrong. But it's quite a turquoisey blue as opposed to this blue. There is a difference in the two blues. And then I just dunked the other end into the red, like the pinky red, after I'd finished. So this, I think this was the last one I did. Yeah, so that I could get a little bit of orange on there as well. So I quite like that one. We have one that is predominantly yellow and then pink. So it is orange in the middle. That's what I wanted to kind of do with all of them, but didn't quite work out. And then this one is blue at one end and pink at the other end. So let's go that way. So we've got pink this end and the lighter blue at that end, and then it goes dark blue in the middle where they kind of overlap. So there's a bit of like purple lilac-y colour going on as well. So those are my minis that I did, and we use a dip dyeing technique. So you had 3 pots, pink, turquoise and yellow, to dip them into, and you could splash the colour on or you could just dip the skeins in. So I just dipped the skeins in the end, but I've not done that technique before, so that was quite interesting. I'm not sure, the green doesn't really go, but these are quite nice together. So I'm going to do something with these. I'm thinking just a cowl project, but knitting like 1 round of one mini, 1 round of another mini, 1 round of the next one, and 1 round of the next one, and then going back to the beginning so that it becomes really stripy and crazy. That's my plan for these 4. This one's going to be a succulent. I know it is because it's that kind of colour. And then finally we were able to dye a full skein. So these are all on DK. A full skein of a colour to either complement or that we could use separately. So we have like a reddish pink colour. It's kind of like what I consider cherry. This is cherry colour for me. It's not going to show very well on the screen, but I think I have some pictures which I can pop in. And yeah, so Lisa did these for us and showed us how to effectively dye them in a big pot. And you fill the pot with water, you get it to boil, you put some pigment powder in it, and you keep checking the colour before you put the yarn in. And it was very pink before, and then she put a tiny bit of chili red in, which just toned it all down. So there are still sections of it that have got the brighter pink in there, but it's quite muted against the darkness of the red. So yeah, those are my skeins of yarn. So I have 100 grams in the reddish pink, and then I have 5 20-gram minis. So I'm looking forward to making something with those. They look really nice all twisted together as well. Let me see if I can twist the minis together. Don't they look pretty? So in that way, the green does go, but I'm still going to keep it separate, I think. And yeah, so all we had to do was, so they put them in the oven, set them, rinse them, etc. And all we had to do was bring them home slightly damp and then leave them to dry. So they've been hanging on my door handles to this room, drying. There we go. So those are my two lots of yarn. So yeah, I'm gonna I think I'm just gonna literally cast on like 100 stitches and just go round and round and round with these and make like a short cowl. But that's that. Yeah, let me quickly go and get the bracelets because I did make a couple of examples and I wanted to show them to you as well. Okay, I made 2 samples because I wanted to see how many beads you could get on without it being too big, particularly because this is for children. So the first one I have is my Instagram handle, Overall Sews. There we go, Overall Sews. And I've got 2 beads on either side and then 1 on each end. So it's a nice size, not too tight, not too loose. So there's that one. So that one has quite a lot of letters, And then this one has just my name on it, and then I have put some little beads in between the letters. So I've tried to get a different colour for each letter, and then I've got gold in between, and then a rainbow, and I've got a couple of different ones on the end. And again, it's not too tight and not too loose either. So yeah, I thought I'd have a go so I knew what we were doing for the session. So I thought I'd show you them as well. And then as we were leaving, I think they had quite a lot of these bags, to be fair, we got given a bag to celebrate the Commonwealth Games for next year. Yeah, so it was a really good morning, and you could tell the kids were a bit tired though, because it was a morning event. But yeah, everyone had fun, and they got to meet the new mascot, which was cool. And they all had a part in like designing the new mascot, which was nice as well. So yeah, that is the last of all the little extra bits I wanted to talk to you about. And then finally we have acquisitions. So I don't think there's really a lot, not compared to some months, but there is still quite a list in front of me. So first off, we're going to go through the subscriptions that I've got for the month, and I've actually had 2 arrive from Blue Fern Yarns, because I think last month it hadn't yet arrived. No, so I've had 2 arrive in July, and I'm going to try and remember which way round they go. Right, so I think that actually you pay the month in advance. So I think I have here July and August. Yeah, because I showed 6 last month. I showed up till the end of June. So we have Dionysus for July, which are these really lovely purple colours. So I'm getting the 50 grams and then the 20 gram mini to go with them. It is on classic sock base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So Dionysus. So this was July. And then August arrived. It arrived Thursday. So the last day of July, so the 31st of July. This is Athena. So it's very pale. I think before I mentioned that in my head, Athena is effectively the character in the Eternals. So she's very clean, cream, white and golds. And in here we've got some orange flecks and some yellows as well, which is lovely. And we've got like a very pale brown to complement. So that is the next 2 from Blue Fern Yarns. So July and August. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the rest of them are going to look like and how they're all going to go together, because they're all so lovely. Like the colours in this one, you can tell, are also in this one here. Like those pops are there. So they all kind of flow together, but not like a fade. They're all individual in their own. So yeah, I have 2 more to add. So we've only got a few left to go. September, October, November, December, 4 left. Yeah, 4 left. So yeah, that's my Blue Fern Yarn subscription. I also have my Wild Magic yarns, which is wrapped up in pink ribbon tissue paper. And this one is because in Animal Crossing, June is wedding season. So it's got lots of pastels. So we have this character here. I don't think I've ever seen this character in Animal Crossing, but I need to get back to playing it really. So we've got lovely pinks and purples and blues, and then we've got all these like confetti colours down here, which is lovely. So that is from June, which arrived in July. And we have some stickers, as always. So that's what it's based on. We have some stickers. So we've got a painted purple heart. We've got a pink bow. And we've got a couple of stitch markers, which are both hearts. One's frosted and one is like a crystal, which is very pretty. So yeah, I love the fact that everything goes together. Everything is so well matched in terms of colours and everything as well. So Charlotte's doing a really lovely job with this collection, and I'm enjoying receiving it. And then the last of my subscriptions is Dyed in the Wool, and this is the Paladin. So again, oh, I'm getting the Yarnimal Crossing yarn is on the DK, which is 75.25 again. And I'm also getting the Dyed in the Wool D&D inspired yarn also on DK. So yeah, blues and yellows. It kind of reminds me of the Cobalt Soul from Critical Role, but I don't think that's what this is based on. But there we go. So this is Paladin, and this is again 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and on DK. So again, these all go into my drawer. I put them all together in their collections so that when I've got the full set, I can decide what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, so that's my subscriptions all done. Next up, I went to Helensburgh with my husband in our week off and found a yarn and fabric shop there called Fabric and Finery, and they've recently moved to a smaller shop, so it's just like an Aladdin's cave. You walk in and there is stuff everywhere, and there's like small gaps to walk between stuff. I think they're probably just trying to work out how to organise all their stock in a smaller space. But they have a better space now because they are literally right outside the train station as opposed to being on the seafront. So I'm just going to quickly grab what I bought. Now, when I was looking for yarn to make the big mushroom guy, I used yarn that was in my stash, which was cream, but I wanted to replace that, and my local shop didn't have the cream in stock, so I picked up 2 balls from Fabric and Finery in Helensburgh. So it's King Cole Yummy on the cream colour. There you go. So I picked up 2 of those, and then I saw this fabric as a roll, but felt like I didn't need a meter. That was the doorbell. This should have arrived on Thursday, the 31st of July. So I should be showing you this as well, but I don't think it will. We'll have to wait until next month to find out what's in this box. Yeah. So I've had a tough delivery. Where was I? I was talking about fabric. Yes. I didn't feel like I needed a meter of this fabric, so I found a couple of are they half meters? They're 60 by 70. And it is Monstera. And it's rainbow. So I got 2 pieces because, like I said, I didn't need a full meter, and there's plenty here to make like 1 bag with this and 1 bag with this. So that's my plan. I'm going to make some project bags, some nice project bags, the hinged ones that I like to make. Do I have one? I do, like this. This is going to be one of these. I'll come on to that in a minute. Yeah, so that's what I picked up from Fabric Finery. I also picked up a big bag of stuffing because I'd completely run out. And I was making the Bride and Groom gnomes, so I needed to top up on my stuffing so I could finish those. And mainly because this thing used 1.5 bags. Like I said, it's big. So that's what I got from Helensburgh. I also picked up a couple of new bags pair of sandals, but they're like a wedge sandal. So I haven't worn heels in a while, so I'm getting used to them. And what else did we get? Oh, I picked up a new stand for my cross stitch, so I can actually work on my big cross stitch without having to rest it against my leg, because I use 2 hands to stitch with it because it's so big and it's on a frame. So yeah, I picked up a floor standing frame that I can attach it to and tilt towards me at the sofa, so the feet will go under the sofa, which means I don't have to, it'll be easier to stitch on it basically, and I can take that with me to the retreat that's towards the end of August. I'll talk about that in a minute as well, actually, unless I forget. What else is there? So I got a delivery from my dad. He ordered me a kit. Now, I saw this and I was like, okay, it's grey. That should give me some indication as to what it is. It has nothing written on the outside, which tells me this is from Temu. And so I had to open up and look at the instructions to find out what sort of kit it is. This yarn, it's like the Hello Love yarn. So it's a chenille, but it's quite a thick yarn. I mean, it also has random things in here, like this. Like, is that supposed to go on the finished make? I don't know. But yeah, there's no pictures or anything. It's just a set of instructions. Is this the instructions? No, that's how to do the stitches. There's a crochet hook, scissors, stitch markers. I'm trying to find the instructions and I don't know where they are. Is it this? Yeah. So it basically has on here head, body, elephant, hind legs, bit, forefoot, and ear ×2. That's the pattern. And it looks like there's videos on how to do it as well. This is literally the pattern. As an experienced crocheter, I should be able to do that. But I'm not sure if a beginner crocheter would without the tutorials. So I might try and make this. It has got packs in here of stuffing as well, and they are shrink wrapped. Like, I don't know how much stuffing is going to be in here, because how many? I've got 6 packs of stuffing. This is quite a big elephant though, considering the yarn that's being used. Yeah, but that would be interesting. So everything is in this big bag. To be fair, these bags are really handy, and they can clearly hold a lot of yarn. So I have an elephant kit. Well, that didn't seal. That's helpful. I have an elephant kit to try and work up next. Not next. I don't know when I'm going to do it, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll find time, and we'll make that up eventually. But that was from my dad, because he messaged me. He was like, "You've got a delivery coming. Has it arrived?" Do you mean the big giant bag of yarn that's meant to be an elephant? Yes, it has arrived. Yeah, so there's that one. I also have, when I did the yarn dyeing workshop, obviously I was at For the Love of Yarn, and it is a shop. So I also picked up some yarn. I should have mentioned this earlier. I picked up a skein of Sew Over It, which is on a zebra 4-ply. I really like the colours in this. They're just my colours. How do I put the label the right way up? There we go. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I got this one called Sky, which is merino nylon again. And this is DK. And Jen told me that she dyed this one. So it's a lovely blue colour. So they're not going to go together, but I need some solids for all of this. Yeah, I have those two, and I also picked up 2 of the little doodle decks. So I haven't opened them yet, but I have Edinburgh and London and Barcelona, because I have Edinburgh in the cupboard behind me already. So they're going to go with those. I like the idea of being able to just add in a colour work. That I bought these because I used to live near London. I now live near Edinburgh, which is where I have the Edinburgh one. But the first holiday my husband and I went on, like proper holiday, was Barcelona. We also went back to Barcelona on our honeymoon as well. So that kind of means something to me. I'm not going to buy all of them because I don't need all of them. Yeah, so the next thing I did was buy some hooks from Diana at the Crochet Chain. So she posted on Instagram that she had ordered in some of the grey Etimo tulip hooks, and I've been looking for the pink ones because I needed to replace the free meal that I can't find, and I'm wondering if I've thrown out maybe, to work on a project. So I picked up a 5mm in the grey. I picked up another 4mm in the pink because I did have to throw my 4mm out. It sweat a lot. The silicone just started sweating, so I had to get rid of that. Yeah, she posted on Instagram because she was taking them to Carry On Crafting, and no, not Carry On Crafting, Summer Wool Show, and I wasn't able to go. But she also had the free meal in pink, so I've ordered the free meal in pink. It's now in here with this project, so I can now get back to working on this one because I like to keep my hooks the same. So I'm going to double check the pattern, make sure that I am where I say I am, where my sticker is, and get back to that because it's a big shawl. I don't currently have a shawl project on the go other than my Advent project. So I felt like this could come back out. This is actually, other than my temperature blanket, this is my longest whip. I think this is from 2018. This is my longest standing whip in here, which is why I've pulled it back out, because I want it done. I don't want a whip from 2018 still on my list. So yeah, it's got lots of lovely badges on there. Wolfram Abbey Wool Show. There's a sloth knitting. I've got a panda with a hook on. I can't remember where these are from. This one's from Gamer Crafting though. That's obviously Wolfram Abbey Wool Show. Yeah, I'm rubbish at remembering where they're from. This one might be from Snuggly Stars. I don't remember. But yes, so this one is going to get some work on now. Whether it gets finished or not this year, I don't know, because it is such a large shawl. It's bigger than my wingspan, I think. Yeah, but it's an easy pattern. Once you're back in the rhythm of it, it's literally a 2-row repeat. Well, it's not a 2-row repeat. It's 2 rows per colour. You go there and back each time with the colour. But it's, once you're in the routine of doing it, it's easy to work out where you are. And which is why I didn't know where I was, because I put it down and left it for so long that I couldn't remember the pattern. But once it's back in my head, it'll be fine. So this is going to be worked on. This is going back into rotation. It's out of the cupboard. And we'll see if we can take this one off the list. Because like I said, this is my oldest whip now. So that makes this 7 years old. Yeah. So like I said, other than my temperature blanket, this is my oldest whip. Because my temperature blanket I did start in 2018. And I got as far as February 2019 on my list. But I also need to talk about that because I might have to be quite drastic with that project. But yeah, I got hooks from Diana at the Crochet Chain. And oh, what there's one more thing. So I went to the Yarn Cake for a knit night, and they had an interchangeable set of needles, which is what I wanted to start my Tolsta. So I picked up the Zing set, which has all the sizes I need. So it's got 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5 and 5. And then it has 2 cables in there, a 60 centimeter and an 80 centimeter. Now, because I'm doing a t-shirt, I wanted a 100 centimeter. So I haven't even taken it out of the packet yet. I've literally just put it in a bag ready for when I cake up the yarn. So I also picked up a 100 centimeter cable. This is the Mindful collection from Knit Pro. So they're both Knit Pro, they both go together, and purely because apparently this one doesn't sort of loop back on itself as much, so that'd be quite handy. So I have all the things I need. So the idea is that I will start the Tolsta with the smaller needle, which I think is a 4. So I'll start with the 4mm tips on this cable, and then I'll just have to swap the tips out to the 5mm when I need those, which will make it so much easier for that project. And then I just need a slightly smaller cable for when I come to do the arms. But I've also packed in here some needle stuffers that I got from Good Yarns at the Open Studio Day in June, and the stitch markers that I bought from Sam Rayner, who is Sam Rayner on YouTube. She has her own YouTube here. So pick those up as well, and they are all in my coffee and yarn cakes bag with the Sit Sprites, which has a Sit Sprite on the zipper. So that is all ready to go. The yarn is all down here as well. I just need to cake it, but that means moving stuff around so I can put the yarn winder out, because I've got the Swift up still. I just need to be able to put the yarn winder up. I think that's everything. Just realised I forgot one more thing that I got this month, and it's a parcel from Craft House Magic, and I do not have any of Ellie's yarn until now. So Ellie put up spares of her Colour of the Month minis, and I managed to get my hands on 3 of them, and I'm very tempted to get August's as well. But they're all wrapped up in a little parcel. So I thought I'd open it with you guys. It's all wrapped up still. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to remember what month they were unless it tells me on them. It's even got the pretty washi tape. Ah, it does have labels on them, even better. So this one is La Isla Bonita. It says tropical, the island breeze, all of nature, wild and free. This is where I long to be, and Spanish lullaby. So this one is June. So we have very tropical based colours. They are 4-ply, 20 grams each, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So that's June. I think I got May, June and July. We'll have a look. So I got 2 more. Got a nice bag to put them on it, so I'll pop them all back in there in the end, I think. So next one. Oh, I'm a believer. I love this song, especially because it's in Shrek. So we have 5 more minis that are purples and pinks. So they're all based on the songs, and each mini has the name of one of the lyrics. So we have Love Was Out to Get Me, When I Saw Her Face, No Doubt in My Mind, and I Couldn't Leave Her If I Tried. So this is May. So we've got May and then June, which means this one must be July. Yeah, July. So this one is Beyond the Sea. It's got lovely blues in there, blues and greens. So we have Waiting for Me, Birds on High, Far Beyond a Star, and Happy Will Be. So I have 3 sets of minis. These are just so pretty. What I'm thinking actually is, so I've got, these should all be on 4-ply. Yeah, they're all 4-ply. So I'm actually thinking of doing like little hexagons and making a hexie blanket with them. I mean, I've got plans for another hexie blanket as well because I've got 2 blanket clubs sets of yarn. But don't they look pretty? And then the next set, so August, is similar to this one, I think. So that'll be quite nice to put them all together. Yeah. So I just need to find a pattern now that will work with the 4-ply, unless I have to hold it double. We'll see. Yeah, but I thought I would share those as well because they're so pretty. And it's something new as well, because I've not ordered from Ellie before, and she has put she's put a second lot of advents up as well, and I'm really tempted, but I just don't have the money, because I also want to get the Toft one, which has just gone up for pre-order, and they're the same price. Ooh! I've got some micros. So this is Ellie's details, and I've got 2 little minis in here as well. So these are probably 10 grams. They look like 4-ply. They might even be, no, they look like 10 grams. They might be 5 grams, but that's really nice. Thank you, Ellie. Now I've got to find something to put those in as well. But yeah. So that is all of my purchases for July. Yeah. I have a couple more things to talk about though. The first one is the temperature blanket, because it's not being worked on. It's really heavy and it's cotton Aran yarn, and it's already king size, and I've only done 7 months of it. So I'm reluctant to do the last 5 months because it will be huge and even more heavy, if that makes sense. Now, the reason that it's that big is because I did half treble stitches, and I was just doing a row of half treble stitches. And that's fine for a smaller blanket, but the yarn is cotton Aran. I didn't realise it was Aran, which is why it's also so big. And one idea was to pull back 1 month and just do it in 2 6-month blankets, but I don't think I want to, because again, it's still going to be heavy. So I'm tempted to rip it all back and do moss stitch instead, which will be quicker. It will use less yarn. It will be double crochet, so it should also be smaller and a bit lighter. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to rip out 7 months worth of crochet. Let me know in the comments below, because that's where I'm at the moment. I feel like I want to rip it out and start again and try and get it to a much more manageable size. And obviously moss stitch is kind of like a half height in a way, because you're putting your double crochets into the chain space, so it reduces the height of the rows. That's the idea anyway, and I think that would give you a better texture as well. It would look better. At the moment it's very blocky, yeah, but it's then finding the courage to sit and rip it back, because it's going to take ages to rip it back in the first place. And I don't have enough yarn to just simply start again. I need to rip it back. But yeah, that is my dilemma on that one. But we are going to finish on a high for this month, because if you remember, last month I made or designed my fire demon warrior, who has now been called Bernie, B-U-R-N-Y. My husband wanted to call him Bernie as in B-E-R-N-E-Y, and I was like, no, Bernie. Yeah, so I have now written up the instructions for this and sent it over to Toft because he won first place. So my fire demon warrior, complete with flaming sword, won first place in the Imaginists competition for June, which was the second quarter for this year. So I've had to write up his pattern, so how I've done all his armour, and I received a gold trophy. So I need to put this on my project bag as well. I've actually got 2 subscriptions project bags, and I now have 2 Imaginists patches. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put this on one bag with just the Imaginist patch. And yeah, so I'm very happy I won a trophy. Yeah, so you'll be able to pick up a kit for this project from Toft in the near future. I don't know when, because I've just sent over the instructions this week. I think that was Thursday. I did that because I had the day off, so I sent over all the instructions on Thursday. I'd wrote them out a while back, but I needed to double check the rounds that I changed colour on for his body. So yeah, that is everything I need to talk to you about. So plans then for August. I haven't actually written them down. I usually do. So I've got to put together Erin, the European hamster, the wild European hamster, and I'm going to add the details to at least 6 segments of my advent project, and then I'll work on the next 6 crystal shapes as well. So that's two goals for the month, and I want to see if I can get the Radiating Squares done, because I only need 6 more squares on there and get that panel finished. And then I am going to a stitching retreat. So just a day retreat in Cumbernauld, and so for cross stitch. So I'm going to take the big Mighty Samurai with me. I might take a couple of little projects as well, so that if it's not as if it's too distracting, I'll do the small ones, because I need to concentrate on where I'm putting stitches in the big one. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do later on in the month. My dad, I think, is coming up to stay with us for at least a week, maybe 2, towards the middle of August. So that'll be good. We'll be able to go and do some day trips as well then. And what else do I need? I want to start my Tolsta. I need to get it caked up and started, and I'm going to see if Kirsty will help me get that started, who is Knit, Crochet, Read, Repeat here on YouTube. Go check them out. And what was the last one I was going to do? Oh yes, I want to work on my Between the Lines shawl. That's my plans for this month. So then I'll have caught up on at least one of my Toft subscriptions. Yeah, maybe I'll even dig out another. I've dug out my last die club as well to see if I can do that. But I need to catch up on my birds and conservationists. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, thank you so very much for joining me today. I know it's been a long one, but I hope you have at least enjoyed the content and seeing what I've been getting up to. And yeah, I will see you all again next month. Take care. Bye.